Either you stay too scared to take that leap and try new things, or you're gonna die with the regret of never trying it. So my wife has a Jetta and I hate working on it. Anytime you're working on the side of the road, it's always dangerous. It didn't work out, we couldn't secure the financing.
Welcome to the Venture Into Moving podcast with your higgity host, Nate Becker. That's me.
We're here at a party. I got Kody Nelson here with a K. Hey.
I love it.
Owner of McCauley's Truck Center. When'd you buy this place?
So my wife and I bought McCauley's in April of 2023. So we're coming up on, we're getting close to 2 years now of ownership. And McCauley's was started by the old owner, John McCauley, back in 1993. It's operated out of the same location that we're in today since then. And we're just glad to take over and carry on the legacy and see what we can do with it.
No doubt. I met John a bunch of times. I bought my first truck, old Smokey. Mm-hmm. Talk about Smokey. But I bought my first truck from John. He gave me a great deal. He gave me more than he should have, because I like to take a mile with my inches whenever possible. And he gave me a whole mile. What a good guy. I feel like I was here early on when you were talking with John about getting this place. Mm-hmm. I remember meeting you and thinking, I hope he buys it. Or either that or you just bought it. I was like, yay, fresh face.
I remember. You were actually one of like the first couple customers that had came in, and John was kind of introducing me to all the existing customers and everything, making sure. I think a lot of people knew he was ready to sell the business, ready to retire. And
I didn't know that. I was oblivious.
Really?
He lived like 2 streets down from me at the time.
I know. Yeah, he he's been doing it his whole life, so he was ready to go enjoy the rest of his lives. He's got a place in Northern California that's really beautiful, and he wants to spend some time down there.
Dude.
And this was kind of his last tie he had here in Central Oregon, and it was time for him to let it go.
It seemed like a seamless transition from my part as the consumer, but intra-office, was it seamless?
It was not.
Why not?
It was not. So when I proposed this idea to my wife, she was right in the middle of...
Another wife proposal.
Yeah.
Were you on one knee? Right.
She was right in the middle of wedding planning for our wedding in October. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, I found a business for sale online. I think it's a industry that, I'm passionate in. I went to school for diesel mechanics. Could we try to buy it? And it was an over a year process from start to finish.
The buying of the business
buying
process?
portion. Okay. So this business was listed with a brokerage that's nationwide, but they have a branch here in Central Oregon. So meeting with the broker, finally getting to meet John.
But how'd you find this?
The business? Okay, so I am constantly on websites such as LoopNet and BizBuySell. That's the main two places where people can list their businesses and brokerages can list their businesses. And I was constantly on there. I don't know why. I just always was and always have been.
I'm on Facebook Marketplace all the time looking for cars. I know how to work on cars.
Same. That's a dangerous place to be.
One more minute.
Yeah, exactly. It's an addiction for sure. But so we found this, and actually I didn't necessarily find this business first. I was at a home show. You know the one that they do up in Redmond at the Expo Center?
Oh, yeah.
A big home show where they've got all the contractors.
I got to be there one day.
Yes. Yep.
I know the one.
So I was working with a local heating and cooling company at the time, and we had a booth set up there. And one of the brokers from the brokerage that we bought the business from came up to our booth and was just talking to us. Him and I ended up walking off to maybe go grab lunch or something. And he's asking me all these things, Kody, what did you go to school for? What are you passionate about? Do you want to own your own business? And he's like, I actually have a business that may be coming up.
Did you? So you did want to own your own business. How long have you? All right, I'll let you go on.
So he was like, well, I may have a business that's coming for sale, but it's not yet, so I can't say too much. So they were just like going through the fine details, I'm guessing, with John about getting his business listed.
Epic for John. He's just starting to do everything, and there's already a fish trying to get on the hook. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Let me on the hook.
Yeah, because businesses, they're a lot different than like selling a house, right? You could have a business listed for sale for 5 months or 5 years, right? It just depends. And you have to find the right buyer for each business, and that's the broker's job.
Plus, isn't there less tradespeople these days? That's what I'm hearing. Like,
yeah,
there's
if you're looking for a business in the trades, for sure, there's less and less. But in my personal opinion, I think like home service and trades, the industry itself, I think is one of the best ones to get into right now because there's less people. So there's more of a demand for it because there's not enough people. So I think you could really make a good living either owning your business, working for someone, as long as you're willing to do the hard manual labor.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're buying this business.
Yep. So so got with the brokerage, and then a couple months later, the listing was live. That's when we first seen it. And it went through a couple different renditions of like the business was listed for a certain amount. And first it was this business was listed as well as the lot back behind our shop here was listed, but two separate purchases because they're two separate owners.
Okay.
So John owned the business, but the separate owners owned the lot, and they were trying to sell them kind of hand in hand.
Okay.
So initially my
Okay.
wife and I tried to do everything as far as buying the business and then buying the lot. It didn't work out. We couldn't secure the financing. So we ended up just
It's probably a lot of money. I'm like, that lot, the one on the corner?
the one that we keep all of our trucks in right here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
right behind us.
Yeah.
And then we keep the Penske's in.
Yeah.
So the people that own the car wash own that lot as well, and they were
okay.
going to sell that portion with the business because in order to operate the business here, you kind of need that lot because there's not a lot.
Were you going
of
to park
space.
on the street? Yeah.
Exactly. And so we tried to do it that way first. We were working with so my wife and I had to do an SBA loan from the Small Business Administration. That was the only way we were going to be able to do this.
Was that like pulling teeth? Or
it
how
was terrible. It was like
it's like working with the government.
Yeah, you had to do so much stuff that I had never done before. A SWOT analysis, a business plan.
Mm-hmm.
You're having to do 24-month projections, all this stuff that I
You had no idea. And that was before ChatGPT was around, so you couldn't ask the computer, like, hey, infinite AI, help me.
Yes, I could have done that easy with all the AI stuff.
Now you're like, I got to use my Kody brain.
Yeah.
I know how to turn wrenches.
I'm like Googling, what is SWOT analysis?
Exactly.
I'm like, trying to figure all this stuff out. And luckily, like the guys at the brokerage was helpful. They see that day in, day out. So they helped me out. And probably like 6 months in, we actually thought it wasn't going to happen. So this bank we were dealing with was over on the East Coast. They didn't care about face-to-face relationship. They just cared about numbers.
Bend, Oregon is a face-to-face area.
And they said, hey, this deal's not going to happen. No matter which way we cut it, it's just not going to work out for you guys.
Sorry, buddy.
And I got the phone call from the broker. Rob was his name. And he says, hey, Kody, like, we made a good run at it. Like, sorry, we'll try again, something else.
So you gave up.
Yeah, I didn't give up. I wasn't going to take no for an answer, right? So
I guess not. I mean,
yeah, everyone around me was like, hey, this isn't going to work out. Maybe you shouldn't do it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to do it. And so I ended up reaching out to a local bank here. Shout out Summit Bank here in Central Oregon.
All right.
Absolutely amazing for business banking stuff. I got to do a little plug for them because they're amazing.
This episode is actually brought to you by Summit Bank.
I love them. They're awesome. I go up to the branch in here in Bend every Friday, and everyone up there is like, hey, Kody, how's your week been?
We're actually looking for another bank.
I would go talk to the people at Summit. Tell them Kody from McCauley sent you.
I will, because our bank changed around, and we felt the difference between being, hey, what's going on, Nate and Rachel, to being, hey, what's going on, 452 and 358?
Yep, exactly. Summit is not that way.
Okay.
And they're going to keep it small, tight-knit business banking.
Okay.
As far as like having like a checking account in the SBA. And
You
they
think
were able to do SBA.
Has that been, it's obviously been an integral part of how you become a business owner is you found the right bank. It wouldn't have happened if you didn't find the right bank.
It wouldn't have. No, we sold a house that we had bought and flipped to basically just cover the down payment for the loan. But we did not have the amount of money that the business sold for to just buy it outright. And John wasn't going to sell or finance it either. So
that's too bad because that's the dream, right? As a young entrepreneur, hey, can you sell or finance?
I know. And I think now knowing like John and I's relationship now, he probably would have if I would have asked him. But I also wouldn't want to put that burden on to someone. You know what I mean? So yeah, finding the right bank was the pivotal part of the whole process.
So you got rejected by East Coast. You got approved by Summit.
They got it done within a month and a half. I sent them everything that I had sent the other bank. They got it done. We had changed the business, what was being purchased around a little bit. John had a big service truck that he valued at probably higher than what it was worth, and he kept it, and he took that amount off the purchase price. So we did a couple things to help us out on the back end, and yeah, we were able to make it happen, and we closed April 1st, actually.
Were you fighting other people that you know about to close, or did you get in at the right time?
I think there was a couple larger corporations that were interested in the business, but John didn't want to sell it to them. So.
That seems, I mean, me personally, if college hunks came and were like, hey, Nate, we want to buy Higher Ground Moving, I would say, for how much?
Yeah.
You know, that's just me, you know, and then just go from there. But
yeah, and I mean, I'm sure if someone come and offered John the right amount of money, and he probably would have done it. But I think he wanted, if it was going to stay McCauley's, he wanted someone that was going to take it over, that, you know, like a husband and wife team, like we are.
And why did you decide to keep the name? Because of the in-town recognition? Or?
Yeah, so I went back and forth on this a lot. Because everyone asked me, like, are you going to change the name? Are you going to change the name? And I think one is, obviously there's a huge reputation built up under McCauley's. You know, since 1993, it's been here.
And it's hard to get a good reputation as a mechanic.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. So having that reputation backed, you know, going into this was great. And I guess I'm also just not too prideful that I need like Nelson's Truck Center on the wall. But I have recently thought about changing the name, now that we're getting close to 2 years of ownership, to something that has nothing to do with like my personal name, but more generic. I don't know. I've had some ideas, but
okay. So like more of a like Diesel Truck Center or something.
Yeah, like one of the options that I had was oh man, now I'm drawing a blank. But yes, it's something like along the lines of more that has to do with our area at Truck Center. You know, there's a ton of them. There's like priority fleet repair, like all that stuff that I've kind of thought about, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll just leave it or
that's a question a lot of entrepreneurs or business starters ask. Like, do I go with a fun name that's memorable? Do I come with just like a vanilla name? Do I try and spice it up? What do I do? But I feel if you try to be too cool with it, it tends to like land on all like 2% of people's ears as a, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Some people might just go over their head if they're trying to do a play on words or something.
All right. So this is, you bought the business. Here we are. You're 2 years into business. Why? Why did you go into being a mechanic? Like, did you always want to turn wrenches? And at one point, did you turn your last bolt and think, I want to do this forever? I'm starting a gosh darn business. You know?
Yeah. So yeah, my background has always been like stuff with engine and wheels.
Like since you were a kid?
Since I was a kid, yeah. Like growing up, like riding dirt bikes, racing dirt bikes, running around on four-wheelers, you know, working on stuff with my dad, grandpa. And then eventually out of high school, that's what I went to school for, was heavy-duty diesel mechanics. I did a 2-year program at Walla Walla, played 1 year of baseball up there. And then
what position?
So originally in high school, I was first base because I'm left-handed, and I love playing first base, but normally you put like a bigger, slower guy there, and I'm a short, fast guy. And I loved it. So I played a little bit of first base, and then they stuck me out in like center field for a little bit.
Because you got the quickness.
Yep, I did have the quickness, not anymore. So that was a really cool time, and getting to go. I got to go with some buddies from high school up there. We all did the same program, and like I said, 2-year program. And then my wife at the time was
just a 2-year program.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
But it's like 8 a.m. to 5. It's like a job, so it's not a normal college experience where you might have class at like 12 and then 2 and then be done. Yeah. It's 8 a.m. to 5.
You got your blue collar on all day.
Yep.
All right.
And then after that, my wife was going to school at Washington State, so I started searching for jobs and ended up in Lewiston, Idaho. Was working at a rock crushing company, a big rock crushing company, doing mechanic work, welding, fabrication.
Like on big trucks?
Yeah, big trucks, and then big equipment, rock crushing equipment.
Yeah. You got all your fingers still?
I still have them. Luckily, yep. And then slowly started to really like the Lewiston, Idaho area, and found that there's a really, basically the top job if you're going to work anywhere blue collar, other than like the hospital, is to work at the paper mill out there. So this paper mill,
But paper mills kind of stink.
they do,
You know?
but you get used to it. But
Yeah,
this
I guess.
paper mill employs like 1,500 people out there,
Okay.
and they've got their own like fire station. They've got their own
Communities, like store, yeah.
So I ended up working out there for another 2 years, just doing like general labor stuff, forklift operator. Was a really good job. Hard on the body. It was. You do 2 days from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then you flip-flop over after your second day and do 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
It doesn't seem like your circadian rhythm is going to be like, hey, now I'm going to keep all my fingers. How have you kept all your fingers?
Yeah, if you if you ask my wife, she'll tell you I was sick and grumpy all the time.
Oh, yeah. I bet you should be a little less polite than that.
Yeah, she would. But yeah, up there in Lewiston, I bought my first house at 20 years old, and that kind of started the
balling.
like, hey, gotta get into real estate, maybe potentially own your own business one day. That's kind of where it all started. And then a couple years of living up there, we sold that and we moved back to Oregon.
Okay, you got responsible early. I like that. And have you owned any other businesses up until now? Like, have you ever tried anything out of your house, like Nelson's Mobile Repair, under the radar? Or?
Nope. Nothing. Even when I worked for employees, I never really did side work unless it was with like buddies or my own stuff.
So have you always been entrepreneurial, or did something just spark on you when you were turning around 20, thinking, you know, I'm a grown up now. I'm 20 years old. I'm a freaking grown up. You know? Like,
no,
what happened?
I think I think it was just the way I'm wired. Because I was always constantly trying to find like right when I got out of college and I was kind of on my own, like bought a house. I'm like, okay, what can I do to make some money? You know, and I really was like heavy in like the online thing. Like, okay, you know, is it trying to day trade or is it trying to build an online business?
So you were putting your feelers out
on a lot of different stuff, which is great because I was young and I was able to do it and I had a good job at the time. And so I was like just trying a bunch of different stuff.
That's something real quick that I really wanted to try and bring up to as many young people as possible, is that, dude, make some freaking mistakes. Now's the time, right?
Oh, I made a lot.
Now's the time. I made so many mistakes.
Yep.
And I still pay for them. I still think, man, I shouldn't have done that. But I've learned from these mistakes, some of them had to do 2, 3, 4 times. But I feel like some people, they're too scared to take the leap to actually do what they've been thinking about. You know?
Yeah, it's either you stay too scared to take that leap and try new things, or you're going to die with the regret of never trying it. And I think my biggest mistake was I was trying to day trade when I was in my mid-20s. And I lost,
with your emotions?
I lost over 5 figures. So, yeah, that was a good lesson learned. But, hey, I tried it. I was like, gonna give this a go and really put some time and effort into it. But ultimately just ended up mostly losing it all. So that was a tough lesson learned.
So instead of betting on the markets, you bet on yourself. You hedged yourself. And now you've got a great diesel mechanic spot here in Central Oregon. I know that you, like my competitors, my frenemies over at Ben Brothers, Chad, he's always here too and always saying good things about you. Like,
Chad's a great guy.
I hear nothing, and I hear things. We all do. It's Central Oregon.
Yeah.
And I've never heard anything bad about this place with John or with you.
That's good. That's what I like to hear. Owning any business here in Central Oregon, although people might like see the population number and think it's big, it's a very tight-knit community, especially in like the repair field, any automotive shop, diesel shop.
Do you all talk to each other?
Yeah, we're all in good communications. Like even like, I don't even want to say like competition, but like Jim and Dee Dee down at Northwest Fleet, they've been a huge help to me. If I ever have any
over
questions,
on 2nd Street or
second or first over there by Ed Stubbs? Yeah. They're the Isuzu dealer in town, so we have to use them a lot for our customers that have Isuzu trucks.
Sweet. Fixing to get one day.
Yeah, we get all the parts and stuff from them, or if not, we just get them from overnighted from Portland. But for the most part, everyone's been super helpful. There's a couple guys up in Redmond that have truck shops, RTC. They're all pretty helpful. There's plenty of work to go around.
Yeah, I've used RTC as well. I liked them as well.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Mike is the owner up there, and I actually went up to his shop a couple months back and got to meet with him, and he's a very, very savvy guy and good guy to know and have in your corner for sure. But yeah, I think everyone is pretty much willing to help. I mean, we have Mirmos right across the street.
Yeah.
We use them daily for parts, right?
Yeah.
And they send us a lot of work because they don't do a whole lot of mobile service anymore.
Every time I go in there, that old guy gives me gruff. I see your truck over there.
Yeah.
Why aren't you coming in here for parts? He's just messing with me. I am coming in here for parts. Why do you think I'm here, man?
Tim and Bob are amazing.
I got to talk with them. They're fun.
Amazing parts guys.
I feel like they might
my
know
goodness.
everything.
They literally do. You can walk in with this greasy part, and Tim and Bob will look at it and say, "Give me 1 second," and they'll go back and find it.
Shuffle back.
Yeah. It's man, when those guys go, I know that they're trying to hire over there and get some younger people in that are savvy, but
good luck.
They'll be hard to replace for sure.
No. It's like going into Napa these days. I remember back in the day, you go in there and there'd be an old guy who just knows everything, or there's some lady who just knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like I go in there and I ask them, I bring them this part, and they're like, I don't know what that is. I said, buddy, this is my radiator cap.
Yeah.
You should know that.
Yeah.
All right. So you've had this business 2 years.
Yep, getting close. April will be 2 years. Yep.
What services do you do?
So when we bought the business, we kind of just kept on with the services that John had offered, which is mainly heavy duty truck, so semi truck and trailer repair.
Like moving trucks.
Moving trucks, yep. Anything box trucks, tractors. We got dry vans. We do some reefer services work. Eventually would like to try to get into the refrigerant side of the reefers. Basic repairs, maintenance, engine diagnostics. We try to do everything we can here to avoid having to send one of our customers' trucks somewhere else.
Yeah. Where is somewhere else? I mean, there's other places in town, I guess, but if the people in town can't do it, Central Oregon is kind of isolated.
It is. Yep. They can, try one of the big dealers up there. Sometimes they can do more specialty stuff than we can here. Right now, we're getting pretty equipped to have all the diagnostic software that OEM would have, which is nice because instead of having to send a truck up to the dealer, we could just take care of it on the spot.
Because there's so much computers in these vehicles.
There's lots in the new ones, yeah.
Okay.
Not like Smokey. Smokey's pretty bare bones, but
500,000 miles.
Yeah. So yeah, basic truck repair. We offer fleet maintenance. So for guys like yourself that have small to mid-size fleets, I'd say sub 10 trucks, perfect customer for us. We can get them here. We can take care of their PM services, their annual DOTs, just general inspections. We can try to take care of that. And then now something that's a little bit new that we've incorporated is we're starting to work on a lot more light duty diesel. So if you've got your Ford, Chevy, Ram pickup truck with a diesel in it, and you're having issues or you just need a service done, you can also bring it here as well.
What about my friend's Volkswagen Jetta?
So my wife has a Jetta and I hate working on it.
You know what I mean? It's diesel, right? So
yeah. So for stuff like that, we would actually send right next door to us. It's Evolution Automotive. They work on cars and stuff. I think we've sent a couple of your guys' stuff to them. And their owners over there is Darwin and Hannah, and they are awesome.
I got to talk to them too.
Yeah, for stuff like that, they are the go-to people.
So you just don't want to do the smaller? You want to stay in a niche? Or
for having working on the smaller diesels, like in a car application or SUV, it's nice to have a lift. We don't have a lift here. And then also it's just kind of a whole nother realm when you get into the car side of diesel. I'm familiar with the pickup side, your Power Stroke, your Duramax, your Cummins engine. And the reason we started to work on light duty stuff is we were getting calls weekly, like, hey, will you work on our pickup? And John, the old owner, never touched that market. He would just say, nope, we're not working on it.
Yeah.
Don't, go somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. If you got your niche, you go strong, you're going to just keep on getting that, and you're going to be real good.
Yeah.
But it seems like calls coming in, that's a shiny object over there. Like,
Well, I think more or less for him, it was that he didn't necessarily need more work.
Oh.
So this business was very well for John. He owned it outright, no expenses, et cetera, et cetera. And he just didn't need the work. And I'm looking at it from my standpoint where I'm in a little different situation. We've got a debt service that we got to do, all this stuff. I'm like, why would we turn down this work, especially if I have guys that are willing to work on it?
Yeah. Okay, that makes plenty of sense. Mm-hmm. I like. So you're moving forward. You're doing light duty trucks, servicing all the heavy duty, medium duty, fleet maintenance.
And then mobile repair. Mobile repair is a big part of our business. So if you're an owner operator and you're traveling through Central Oregon, the greater Central Oregon area, we've gone as far to Burns, John Day, up over Santiam, down past Chamolt, and you have an issue with your truck, give us a call. We'll try to come out and take care of you mobily to avoid a tow bill to a shop.
You were out, and we're going to end this soon here, but you were out late last night. You said you were out on a mobile service call. What was that like?
So we got a call, and it always happens Friday afternoon, of course, you know, like, hey, I'm going to get out of here a little early today. And
got a date with the wife.
Yep. Call came in, and it's clear outside of Warm Springs. It was an over an hour drive from our shop. And the customer had two issues. He had a massive air leak, which would not allow the truck to move. So
the brakes were seized up?
The brakes were set, yep. You have no air to release them. Transmission won't go into gear because it was air operated. And then a coolant leak, a massive coolant leak.
Did he run something over? What do you...
I'm thinking he might have hit something, at least for the coolant leak, but not for the air leak. The air leak was his main discharge line from his compressor just blew up. It was old and brittle.
Oh, okay.
So
it just happens sometimes.
Yep, I get out there. Luckily, ODOT had flaggers set up, and because he was blocking one of the two lanes going up out of Warm Springs. And
does that guy get charged for ODOT coming out, or how's that work?
I don't think so. I think they just do it as a safety precaution.
Okay.
You know, they'd rather sit there in their pickup with a big sign on the back than have an accident on the highway or have me get ran over. You know.
Yeah, well.
And so, anyways, I was able to get the hose spliced, just a temporary fix to get him up the hill into a nicer pullout, and it was just very, very good luck on my part. But as soon as he got into that pullout, my splice broke and was losing all the air again. But luckily we were in the good spot. And then I went down to Madras, and there was one place open in town that could make me the hose I needed. Because it wasn't just a normal rubber line or plastic DOT line. It was a special air equipped, like braided line.
That's the only kind that worked. Yeah.
Yep. And luckily Jared at J&H Overhaul, they do like engine overhaul work in Madras. He was able to make me the hose I needed. And then I grabbed the customer at night. It was luckily I got there like right before they closed, but he said I'll stay open if you're going to be a little bit later, which is just awesome. And then the customer that I was working on their truck, he wanted a Subway sandwich, so I went and grabbed him a Subway sandwich. Went back up to him.
He was probably so stressed out on the side, not on the side, in the middle of the road. Just
in the middle of the road. It was getting cold, like the ground was freezing and stuff. So got the air leak fixed, and then found a snapped off fitting down by the after treatment that was leaking all the coolant out. Got that fixed and got him done, and away he went.
Is that typical? You do that a lot?
That's a lot. Yep.
All right, before we go, I want one story. I just want one. I want to know what's like the craziest one you've done, or the most dangerous, or have you been out there and you've been nearly flattened, or what's some, you got any scaries?
Yeah, I mean, anytime working on the side of the road is never fun because people don't get over.
What do you mean? Like they don't get...
Like if you're like, say you got a truck that's like right off the shoulder, maybe his driver tire is like right on the white line, but you're on a 2-lane highway, people will stay in that close lane to you and just fly by you. And I just did one, it's been a couple months ago now, but it was right outside of Redmond on 97. So it is 2-lane, and I had to be underneath, right on the driver's side.
Dude, no
thanks. I was technically out in the lane that people should have been getting over. I was smart, and I made the driver like turn his truck into the shoulder so that his trailer was still blocking the lane, but I was kind of protected. I mean, if someone was going to hit the truck, it would have flattened me anyways, but at least that kind of made people want to get over a little bit. But anyways, I was fixing a leak there, coolant leaking everywhere, and I had to do it on the driver's side, which puts me out in the street. And, you know, you got cars whizzing by, and it's shaking the truck because of the air. They're not slowing down. So there's a lot of instances like that. You know, you try to do everything you can to be as safe. But
isn't it the law that people have to get over for?
It is. It is a law. Get over if you see someone on the side of the road.
All right.
We try everything you can. You know, if I'm able to, I'll use the service truck to block me in the lane. Like someone can smack into my service truck, but don't flatten me over. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, if there's another lane, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to slow down and get over. Or if you can't get over, if someone's, you know, on your left-hand side, at least slow down a little bit, you know, don't go flying by at 65 miles an hour. But yeah, that's, anytime you're working on the side of the road, it's always dangerous, right?
Perfect.
So.
Well, we'll end it at that. stay away from the guys working on the side of the road. They're just some dudes. They're just chill dudes trying to work and get home to their wives and kids and dogs and cats. You got a cat?
No cats, just
Good.
two dogs.
Good. All right, Kody, it's been a
Thank you,
pleasure,
Nate.
man.
Thank you. Yep, thank you.